welcome to our next interview in the From Their Perspective series. I'm Ronnie Fogelman.
And I'm Jody Ashley. And today it's with great pleasure that we bring to you Beth Richardson, who is the Vice President of Operations from the Arbor Company.
And Beth, you have been in the senior living industry pretty much your whole life, right?
Yeah, I started volunteering in a nursing home when I was about 16 years old and then became a CNA. Then I went to college for healthcare administration, and I've spent my entire career in senior living.
Wonderful. Well, you're a perfect person for us to ask some very interesting questions then. So if you're okay, we're going to get started.
Sounds great.
So since you've been in the industry, I'm wondering if you can think back maybe about 5 years and just tell us in the last 5 years, kind of except for COVID, just normally in the last 5 years, what are the greatest changes that you've seen?
From my perspective, it's really all about staffing and leadership. There's been a great demand for executive leadership that seems to have lulled a bit in our industry. And then also just the staffing challenges, just the different generations coming and melding together. Staffing challenges have hit across the nation. There's a demand for nursing. There's a demand for frontline caregivers. Our tried and true folks are aging out of the workforce, and we're seeing staffing, in my perspective, as the biggest challenge. We're a people-driven business, so we can't replace people who love and care for our residents. And the demand is getting larger. The gap's getting bigger.
Beth, it's interesting that you said about staffing, and I personally agree with that. What do you think we need to do as an industry to attract the younger generation into the workforce?
Well, first, we're very resident focused, which is great, which is the primary customer that we serve, but our staff are equally important, right? So if we don't have staff, we can't run our business. We can't provide quality care and love to the people that we support. So you have to be equally focused on hiring the right team, making sure the leadership has the caliber needed to really drive that teamwork and engagement, and really focus on making sure you're competitive. These folks are not paid a living wage in most states. So we need to make sure that the wages that they're paying are commensurate with the jobs that they're doing. So being competitive, making sure wages are, in the 90th percentile or above, using pay scale data or whatever metrics that you can monitor in your market, larger market and micro markets is really important. So, wages need to be very heavily scrutinized. And I think we need to get with a program of paying the people that really touch and provide the majority of our business well. So I think that's part of it. There's other options. They shouldn't be able to go to Target or Starbucks and make more money than actually caring for very vulnerable population, or providing, like, we have a very high trust in our people for quality care and service. So I think we've got to get with the program as an industry and ensure that we're spending the most on labor, and that labor is in turn helping us grow our business and provide quality care.
Yeah,
and
excellent point.
One factor, yes. Okay, money is, but people need, we work to live. I hope we don't live to work, so there's a balance in at least my generation. Like, we want to work and do a good job, but we also want to take care of our families. So I think our caregivers and our frontline staff and our leadership need to be paid in that way as well.
I agree. Excellent point. So when you think about the challenges that our industry is facing and has for years, what do you see as the future of this industry?
Well, I think really partnering, having good partnerships and necessary like alliances, working together. We're in a highly competitive environment, right? It feels like there's a senior living building on every corner now, especially in my world. In the Atlanta market, it's very competitive. I mean, I have one building where we have, I want to say 30 different senior living products in a 10-mile radius. So we need to really work together. I want to see everyone do well. So that's going to take partnership and collaboration. that's going to also take a seamless transition through home and community-based services, home health hospice, our hospital networks, and really all working together to make sure that we are helping seniors as they transition and as their needs change in a way that's fiscally responsible, right? So we have to do that not in a vacuum, but together. And I see that being more of the future of our industry. The skilled side has it down, okay? Because they have to. Otherwise, they're not going to make any money, right? And no market, no mission. But on some of the other product line, we really need to band together to make sure that we're doing right by our seniors and their families. We're helping guide them. If I'm not the price point for you, here, let me show you, or let me refer you to someone else. Because we want our competition to be maybe not better than us, but we want them to succeed. We want people to have choices and options. But the only way that we're really going to be able to do that is to know our competitors and treat them like our friends. So I think the senior living industry is going to have to be a little bit more collaborative and not just working through our state associations, but really networking and I guess working together to make sure that we're not providing duplication, that we're sort of, providing maybe specialized services, or we know what each other's doing so that we can best support the folks who are looking. So I see it, becoming a little bit more cutthroat because everybody is trying to survive, right? In a tough market, but we have to come together so that we can offer different products and price points to keep our industry thriving.
How would you say your company goes about seeking out those partnerships, Beth?
Well, I think first and foremost, we really look at, is this going to be a value added relationship for the folks that we serve and our business? It's twofold, right? Is it going to help the people we serve, and is it going to help our business? If they don't align, it's probably not going to be something that we would go after. I think that we are we're very much quality focused. So we want to partner with folks who have a track record of doing things well. So I think, and we work with people who are reliable, dependable, and flexible. So if they're not going to check those boxes, chances are we're probably not going to pursue a partnership with you.
So, you make such wonderful points. And, I've been in the industry as well, for a great many years. And it seems like we're in a constant flux of some kind of change going on all the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering what you think, especially in the ALPC part of our senior living, they're going to be forced into making some changes. So I'm wondering what you see as the future.
Well, I see us becoming more streamlined. Like, we need to trim any fat that you have, and that's by gaining operational efficiencies. Like, if you are working hard on basic things, it means your platform isn't right. Maybe your CRM isn't right. Every flow and process of our business relies on people. And because people is a very tough resource to procure right now, you have to make sure that you are leveraging innovation and technology to support your business. So I think personally, we've seen a tremendous amount of growth in the engagement side of our business, of how do we engage our residents in a technology friendly way that doesn't heavily rely on people to do everything and engage people. So I think technology is going to play a huge role in senior care. I think being flexible in the services that we offer to appeal to people's choices. I mean, the generation coming in is going to demand choices. Okay, these folks are not going to say, well, yeah, I'm eating between 11 and 1. They're going to eat when they want to eat. So being flexible to the demands and also being very smart about the demographics in where you're operating a senior living community, right? So if I'm in Pennsylvania, I might run it completely different than I run it in Metro Atlanta, right? So be smart about the audience that you're targeting and be nimble in how you adjust your services and make changes so that it appeals to the demand of the people that you're serving, not trying to fit them in a box that you've already created. So I think that the leaders that can execute that will thrive. And COVID has taught us that, right? Because we're not going to make this call about COVID, but we are going to really look at the people who have made it, or the people who have not changed their model and they're really struggling, or they might not make it out of this last year. So I think that has really kind of separated the cream.
I agree. So when you think a little bit about the things that you've just been talking about, the market, the demographics, making sure that we're going to survive through some of these difficult times and adjusting to our customers, when I'm thinking that probably when COVID's over, there's going to be a huge focus on revenue again, on occupancy, census. And so I'm wondering what you would think is the most important attribute that you would like to see the person running your sales department. What would they possess?
Well, it's kind of like a phrase I think of. It's a strategic minded coach, right? So they need to be coaching their sales team, and it kind of depends on maybe the structure of your organization, but who's driving the sales force in your organization needs to be strategically thinking and coaching the people that they're motivating and getting results through to be focused on the right things. Because sales is a disciplined process, right? And there's a lot of times that the basic process isn't followed. So I like to think that a coach who is strategically minded sort of keeps their fingers on the pulse of not only the basics, but can react and help coach their players through changes. So we're seeing a change in the market. How are we going to react to that? Not waiting until we've lost leads or we've seen a trend of new requests coming through from families to say, oh yeah, I'm not sure that we're really as competitive as we need to be. So they have to be like a coach, and they also have to be strategically minded. So for me, I'm just strategically wired. So for me, from my perspective, your sales leader needs to be very strategically focused to be successful.
What do you think about their ability to connect with the customer? And I mean, strategically, they know where they're going, they know what to do, but when they get there, talk to us a little bit about the skills that you think they need to have when they're sitting there in front of that customer.
Well, the best sales leaders that I've had the privilege to work with are like chameleons. Okay, they can engage and empathize and get involved in being where that prospective customer is in the moment. So I think being people focused and connected is a given. So if you don't have the ability to change your approach, listen effectively, and give them what they're seeking, or guide them. It's almost like you're guiding them through the process. You're not going to be successful because every customer that comes in your building needs something different, or they're looking for something different. So I think they have to be very intuitive. And I think they have to be really listening for meaning and seeing what that person needs from you and how your business and your organization can meet that need, right? They're coming to you because there's an unmet need. And you are we're the commanders in chief and we're the experts in our fields. And so we should be able to say, here's what I hear you saying, and here's how we can help you. So really connecting on a deeper level. One of the staples and best, I want to say, Arbor service just givens in our company is forming deep connections with people. And I think that through the sales process, that is our first step in forming a deep connection that hopefully leads to a move-in. And then that deep connection it thrives. So if you start out in a very, personable and meeting their needs way, that'll continue to grow as you care for them and their family, because they come as a package deal, right? So.
Yeah, so I think we're just going to see if we can't move you into our sales team.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, so I do think it's really important that if that is not present in your sales leadership, you cannot hesitate to coach that up or coach that out. So, I think our industry is learning that if we don't have the right caliber of people in the leadership roles in driving our initiatives, you're missing a lot of opportunity. So those hard discussions have to happen, especially as we come out of what has been an incredibly challenging year. You've really got to evaluate, do you have the right people in the right roles? do they possess the skills, talents, and characteristics that you need to grow your business? And if they don't, you gotta, have a come to Jesus with that. So I think that is also really important in the overall strategic leadership of your company.
I couldn't agree with you more in everything that you said. So I have one more final question for you, because you've had all these years of success and you've spent it dedicated to the senior living sector of healthcare. I'm wondering if you can share with us the best professional advice that you've ever received.
Yeah, when I thought a little bit about that question, because that's kind of a hard one. I've gotten so many amazing tips and pieces of advice over the years, but I think most recently, I had one of our senior vice presidents in our company say something to me that just had a profound effect in the moment. Okay. It was a tough day. I don't know what we were talking about specifically, but it's most likely COVID related. And it was just a hard emotional day, right? It was a heavy heart day. And she looked at me, and of course we're on a Zoom, and she said, "You never, ever underestimate your skill set." And it was just what I needed, a little shot in the arm. And it really kind of hit me that, yeah, you're right. Sometimes this is a very hard, emotionally draining, tough job. And we give we give all of ourselves to it. And you have to be reminded that, don't underestimate yourself. Don't underestimate the skills that you bring to the table when you feel like maybe you're not doing well that day, or that, I can't make an impact here. It's, don't ever underestimate yourself. And, I think that is one of the best pieces of advice, that we have to tell ourselves that, because, we're sort of like shouldering large and heavy burdens at times. So I think I need to look in the mirror and say that sometimes when the going feels impossible, because it's not, and we shouldn't underestimate our skill sets that we bring to the table.
Beth, it's listening to you say that you didn't get to where you are because of luck. You got to where you are because of your skill sets. So I think that piece of advice is something that you should take to heart. And I think it's great advice for the viewers watching this, that we are where we are because of our hard work and our skill set. So I'm going to take a piece of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Great advice, Beth. And, we are very, very appreciative of your time and your talent that you've given us. I know you are very, very busy in your role. And we want to thank you so much for everything you brought to us today. And we want you to be well and stay safe.
Yes, thanks.
You as well. Thank you guys so much. It was a pleasure seeing you again, and you stay safe and well as well.
Thanks, Beth. And I hope all of you will join us for the next interview when we speak with Michelle Hockney, who is an administrator. So until then, have a wonderful day and be safe.